Mrs. Overman and Miss Wu went golfing. Before each shot, Miss Wu would quietly say 24. Then I asked, "Why are you saying 24? She replied, "I got a sore throat, so I can't yell 4. Now, that actually would be funny if you understood something about factorials, and that 4 with an exclamation mark, like you're yelling 4, is the same as 1 times 2 times 3 times 4, or 24, without an exclamation mark. Anyways, our teacher, who's a golf coach and a math teacher, he just loved it. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at why do I need factorials? Well, we're going to be looking at how many different ways there are to arrange things. So we're going to start with when order matters. How many different ways can I arrange the 4 letters in words? So WORD is definitely different from DROW, all right? So how many different ways can I arrange it? Well, first of all, for my very first letter, I have 4 choices, W, O, R, or D. For my next letter, I have 3 choices, W to O, or R, or D. And then for the next letter, I have 2 choices, R or D. And then finally, I have 1 choice. So I have 4 choices for the first, 3 for the second, 2 for the next one, and 1 for the last. So that ends up, if I'm just looking at the first letter, I have 6 choices. Where did that come from? Well, the 6, you could say, came from the 3 choices for the second letter, and then 2 choices for the third letter, and 1 choice for the last. 3 times 2 times 1 is 6. And since I have 4 different first letters, I have W and O, and in this case, R, I'm going to have 6 choices for each of those letters. And so that means I will have a total of 24 ways that I can arrange WORD. And where did that come from? That came from 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. This is sometimes known as the fundamental counting principle. So when I'm trying to arrange something, I say, okay, let's start with the first letter, and then I can figure out all the arrangements. Well, how many choices do I have for the first letter? I have 4 choices. Then you can see that I have 3 choices for the second, and then for the third one, I only have 2, and then I'm down to 1. So 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Well, in mathematics, we did this so often that we came up with a shortcut symbol for it, which is the exclamation mark, also known as a factorial. It's a special product of the integer and of all the positive integers before it. So in this example, 4 factorial is 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So 4 exclamation mark is 24. And now you know why my joke was so funny. All right, we can do this with other numbers, not just 4. So 9 factorial would be 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Now, you're probably thinking, that's kind of a pain to enter on a calculator, and I would totally agree with you. So this is one of the times you're going to see me say, go ahead and grab that calculator, although I don't mind you using it to multiply and divide, but it's really handy for factorials. So how do we do factorials on a calculator? Well, first of all, what we're going to do is enter the number, and then we're going to press math. Okay, so let me go ahead and start it here. You're going to watch me enter the number. So I'm entering the number 9, then I'm pressing math. Then I'm going to move over to PRB, see it over there. Then I hit 4 for the exclamation mark. I'm going to hit play on this again so you can see it, because that went kind of quick right at the end. I'm going to enter the number 9, hit math, arrow over to PRB, and in this case, it went quick because I pressed 4 and enter instead of arrowing down. So let me do that again. There's the math, arrow over to PRB. Then you can see that 4. I press the 4, it puts the exclamation mark, then you hit enter, and you have your answer. So let's go ahead and do an example. How many ways can you arrange 10 letters with 15 different letters to choose from? So this is a little bit different from our last one, because the last one we used all of the letters, all right? Now we're going to just take 10 of the 15. Well, for the first letter, I'm going to have 15 to choose from. Then I'm going to have 14, then 13, then 12. Am I going to make it all the way down to 1? Actually, I'm going to stop short of 1. I'm not using the last 5 letters, so I'm not going to have the 5, the 4, the 3, the 2, the 1. Unfortunately, your calculator doesn't do 15 factorial, but don't go down to 5. So there's another way to write this. So if I wanted to use a nice factorial shortcut so I don't have to put all those numbers in the calculator, I can actually do this trick. My calculator does do 15 all the way down to 1. So if I turn this into a fraction, and I go times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 on top, and I do the same thing to the bottom, I still have the same number. So this looks like 15 factorial over 5 factorial, which is going to be a very big number. Let's see, we got billion, 897,286,400. So I'm going to go ahead and show you again on the calculator how to enter 15 factorial divided by 5 factorial. Whoops, I meant to go back up. So let me go ahead and hit play there. So there's 15 factorial, so 15 math, go to PRB, hit the 4 for the exclamation mark, and then hit divide. Now hit the 5 math, go to PRB, hit the 4 for exclamation mark, and then hit enter. Now you got a funny answer on your calculator. When your numbers start getting really big, really like more than a billion, then if your calculator says, hey, I'm running out of room, I can't fit the whole thing on the screen, and it goes to scientific notation. So this number you see on the calculator is basically 1.0897284 times 10 to the 10th, or you can move your decimal place over 10 spots. So looking at the number of arrangements, what we call this, the way we've been figuring it out, is called permutations. So it's the number of ways you can arrange n items with a total of r choices to make. So you're really only arranging r of them, but you have n to choose from, okay? So n in this example we just did is like the 15, and r is like 10. And there's actually a formula for it, which is NPR, n factorial over n minus r factorial. So there's a faster way to enter this on your calculator. Your calculator's very happy doing permutations for you. You just need to tell it n and r, so you don't even have to do the subtraction on the bottom of the formula. So on your calculator, what you're going to do is press the number for n, and then press math like we did before. And we're going to move to PRB, except in this case, instead of going to the fourth option, which was the exclamation mark, we're going to go to the second option, which is NPR. And then finally, let me go ahead and show you how it's done. So here we put in n, which is 15. We hit math, move over to PRB, and then we're going to hit 2 for NPR, all right? And then you put in the number for R, in this case 10, and hit enter. And that gives you the crazy answer. I'll hit play one more time on that so you can see it again. So you put in the number for n, math, make sure you go to NPR, so there's the PRB, then NPR, which is choice 2, and then put in the R, and hit your enter, and you get your calculation. So let's go ahead and do an example. How many different 5-digit numbers can you create from the number 987,654,321? So I picked this number because it had 9 different digits. It's easier when I know I have 9 different things to choose from. So since I have 9 different things to choose from, n is 9. How many of them am I gonna pick? I have 5 that I'm going to take, so r is 5. So what I would calculate if I was using the formula, I'd say, okay, I'm doing permutations because 1, 2, 3 is a different number than 3, 2, 1, right? So order does matter. We're doing a permutation. And that's basically going to be 9 factorial over 9 minus 5 factorial. And I could go ahead and do that on my calculator and basically say 9 factorial divided by 4 factorial. And I would get that number. Or the calculator, like I said, will let you actually do the permutation. So I'm going to do 9, math, PRB, and then there's the NPR, number 2 up there. Get down to the 2. And then put in the 5. It's going to do subtraction for me, and it gives the same answer. So for further reflection, you should know what is a factorial. So if you're doing your summary, write down what is a factorial. Tell me what is a permutation. And it's not bad to know what is the shortcut to enter permutations in your calculator. You're going to see the notation NPR, and sometimes that's going to be your answer choice on a test. That's all you have to tell me. So know the notation. It'll save you a lot of time.